everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to another episode of Project Console, episode 80. Tricks are for kids. Um, Before we get into our topics, I'd like to introduce my co-host.
Yo, Mr. Red Fox, unproprietary BS Busters. Sorry about not having a cast last week. Shit happened, and I was unable to. Do some stuff, so that's my bad. That's on me. I done fucked up. You fucked up, Logan. uh, but with that being said, we will definitely be having a cast this week. Some of the topics may be redundant because I will also be giving my takes on my cast for the Nintendo Direct. But go ahead, that's it.
All right. Welcome everybody, one and all. So there was a big event that happened last week. That was the Nintendo Direct that I thought wasn't going to happen, but it turned out it happened. And before we get into the games that were shown, what was your initial thoughts about the direct? How'd you feel about it?
Initially, I thought it was fairly decent, like maybe a little bit above decent. I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then I reconsidered because I thought, am I being biased because I like certain games that they showed, or was this legitimately a good direct? And so I had to downgrade a little bit, but it still overall was fairly decent.
Yeah, if I'm being biased, I would have given this direct an A plus because they showed a couple of things I really wanted to see.
That high,
huh? The Super Mario RPG. And,
yeah.
They're actually being more. They're doing more interesting things with their 2D Mario game. But objectively speaking, I'd probably give it like a B or C.
Oh man! Oh geez. Your bias gave it a higher score than I did. Initially I would have given them a B minus.
Yeah.
And then I reevaluate. I'm like, okay, I'll give you a C. It's a C. Like, cause the thing is like, yeah, I was excited about Mario, whatever, the new Mario game, and they left the new Super Mario series. Cause I hate that fucking art style, New Super Mario Brothers. I hate it. I think it's ugly as shit. They're kind of going back to a more artsy style, or as I like to call it, Mario took LSD. Like in previous games, he took mushrooms. Now he's taking LSD.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Mario's Wonderland, which looks, I'm glad we're getting a 2D Mario finally after like one made by Nintendo and not some shit. Well, you can make your own fun. Fuck you. I gave you $60. Give me a game. And I thought that was cool. My only other issue, the thing that I was like, okay, this kind of is awesome, is a remake of Super Mario RPG. But here's the thing. Is this going to be a remake like Link's Awakening? Which, that remake was very basic, bitch.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The thing is, I noticed that a couple of things I've noticed, because, I know you hate when they give Link a voice in like the 2D games. Mario still has that MIDI sound every time he jumps.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a. So obviously they're gonna probably not have voice acting in this game. Hopefully, I kind of rather just everybody not talk.
I don't want to hear. Well, the thing is, I don't want to hear Mario talking. The whole point about Mario RPG is that the other characters. Like Mario pantomimes that other characters do the explanations for him, or it's very simple what he's trying to say, and that's the charm of it. Is that Mario, like, no one understands what the fuck he's saying. That's what makes it interesting. Yeah, for me, I just hope I love Mario RPG, but Mario RPG is a very basic bitch baby's first RPG. It was designed to be that. I hope that they just like raise the level cap from 30 to 40 and maybe add a little bit of extra content. I don't think that's too much to ask.
it looked like they were doing something slightly different with the battle system because I've seen the trailer a few times and I noticed that there was this percent sign and there was these two different abilities. It looked a little different. Didn't look like, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes that when we talk more about it.
I mean, it seemed to me that they were still using the time to attack, but
Yeah, I mean they were still
I
using that. But
I could be wrong, but it still seemed like they were still using the time to attack. Um, but because they can't change the time to attack, they really can't. It has to maintain that time to attack. They may have a percentage thing where it's going to do more damage the closer you are to a full-on time to attack, but like they can't change that too much. You know what I mean? Um, but that's just my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, but insert reason here why it's amazing." Look, it's Mario RPG. Even as long as they don't change it too, as long as they don't pull a Final Fantasy VII remake, we're good.
yeah, do some weird stuff. Yeah.
Don't do any weird shit. As long as you have time to attack Malo, Gino, Bowser, Princess Peach, we're good.
So I found
Boshi.
out. So I found out something interesting about Super Mario RPG, the original one, which I didn't know, but probably should have been obvious. The reason it looks like the way it looks, or how they got it to look like the way it looked, is because they had to add some extra stuff to the cartridge to.
Yeah, it used an FX chip in it.
Yeah, and
I
that
thought
makes
you already
it.
knew.
I thought the FX was just a mode on the console. I didn't know it was an
Oh
actual chip.
no. The FX chip lets it do like that's how they got it to. That's how they kept the cost down for consumers initially. Is that the basic Super Nintendo? It's fairly decent. You got like 13, 14 different modes. But in order for it to get the special effects for certain things like Donkey Kong Country and Star Fox and Mario Kart 64 and Chrono Trigger and shit like that, they added extra chips, which is why those cartridges were more expensive. Because the normal
Yeah,
cartridges back then were like $50, $60.
yeah,
But
that's
some
what I'm.
cartridges like Earthbound, other stuff like that, 70, 80, $90.
Super Mario RPG was $70 when it hit store shelves back in 1996. Um,
So functionally, yeah, that's why that game was. That's why a lot of those other cartridges were so expensive. And this isn't just a Nintendo thing. I don't want to hear people, well, Nintendo was cheating me out of money. No, because Sega had games that cost more or less depending on how much other shit was going on there.
which is sort of a pretty interesting concept to have a basic modular computer system where you can enhance the ability of that computer through the cartridge. I think something like that would just be too expensive to do now today. But
No, you could do it. It's just do people want to put the infrastructure in to make it affordable for the end user? And the
yeah,
answer is no.
yeah, obviously not. Yeah, you're right.
If you
But
were a PC manufacturer and they had like a laptop that you could just like, it's time to update, and you just did modular shit in order to make it better, that'd be fucking amazing.
yeah.
I'd
So
totally buy that.
the direct started with a downer. It started with some downers. Like I was like,
How so?
maybe this wasn't the direct for me. They went on with the Pokemon DLC. Sonic was good. I'm actually kind of excited for this game. Cautious optimism because I know how the Sonic 4 stuff went, but this game actually looks interesting compared to the Sonic 4 that came out several years ago. Uh,
Yeah, the art style was a little uh, underwhelming for me, but I could see where other people would like it. But
yeah,
then again, I'm not a huge Sonic fan, so I don't really give a fuck anyway. I don't care either way.
I think they should have stuck with like a 2D art style, but whatever. Um,
Yeah.
And then there was that farm simulator game. Another farm. They got a lot of cozy. There's a lot of cozy games in here. Just where
But you weren't interested about Storia Seasons again, umpteenth time.
Animal Crossing. When that came out, that just sparked just all these farming simulators. I guess they're really popular in Japan.
No,
Obviously, they're fairly popular here too.
a lot of people like that. I mean, look at Stardew Valley. A lot of people
Yeah,
like
that
those
game
games.
took off. That game took off, didn't it? That game.
And that game is just basically a retro throwback with modern take of Harvest Moon.
Yeah, yeah. I know a couple people that were addicted to that game when it came out.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I like that game. I also like the fact that it's really moddable, so you could like add different shit to make it even better.
Yeah.
And I'm always down with that. I'm a sucker when it comes to people making things better. You know.
And then there was that Persona meets Disgaea. The sky, because the art style reminded me of a little bit of Disgaea. It's a strategy RPG. Yeah, they're milking the Persona cow. Here's where I gotta get off on a tangent, right? So,
All right.
the thing about stick with me here. So the thing about Final Fantasy 16, Yoshi P and other people are like, well, we can't make a turn-based Final Fantasy 16 because people just don't like turn-based anymore. But then you have games like Persona 5 that's sold a fair amount. It's fairly popular.
It's like one of the highest selling games in the series.
Yeah, Persona 4 sold a ton when that was announced to come to everything. And then people are ecstatic about Persona 3 getting a remaster, and there's a few other games that have come out that are turn based that sold pretty well. So I'm just kind of like, wait, what? You're ignoring these games?
You want to know what it is? You really want to know what it is? Here's what it is, okay? At least from my estimation, this is just my own personal opinion. What I think it is just me. It's just my estimation. I think that what's really going on here is Square Enix wants to reach the largest audience possible with Final Fantasy. Turn-based games are very niche. Even the ones that sold gangbusters are still niche.
Yeah.
Action games are not niche. They're easy to pick up and play, and anyone can get into it. So they're trying to reach a large audience. The problem is that it's fucking Square Enix, and Square Enix just doesn't. They don't understand that no one is like me personally. I don't want to play a Final Fantasy game with fucking I don't want to play a Final Fantasy game with fucking you know
Devil May Cry stuff happening.
Yeah, that's not my. When I think Final Fantasy, I think like epic gameplay. You're going from towns and you're beating people and you're doing all that shit. I don't want to play a Final Fantasy game where I'm like not doing any of that shit. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That does not interest me. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. They're going to be like, how could you say that, Mr. Red Fox? That's just how I feel. If you don't like it, fuck off. Yeah. I wasn't into that. I thought it was kind of like, you clearly... I know, look, business-wise, I understand. But as a fan of this franchise for many goddamn years. I think that what they're doing to the franchise is eroding the core of what it used to be.
Yeah.
And they don't fucking care because it's Final Fantasy and what the fuck do they care? But for me, I'm just like, come on, man, don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, what do they care?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, a new Persona game was announced. Let's see what else. All right. New Persona game. Talked about Super Mario RPG. Um, Myth Force, which is sort of based off of old Saturday morning cartoons. It's a roguelike. It's based
Yeah, I
off of
played the
old.
demo for that in the previous, not the latest Steam Next Fest, but the one before that one. It
Yeah.
was okay. It's not really. I was like, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, whatever. Splatfest, vanilla versus strawberry versus mint chip.
I already have a
Um,
problem because where's the chocolate?
yeah,
Vanilla, strawberry, mint chip.
yeah,
Where's the chocolate? Banana,
yeah.
sorbet. Where do they come up with these topics?
I don't know. I know that these three are pretty popular. Um,
Yeah, but chocolate is like one of the most popular flavors of ice cream.
yeah, that is
And yet
true.
it's nowhere there. Like I think it goes vanilla then chocolate.
Yeah, vanilla chocolate and probably mint chip over strawberry.
No, I think
Or
strawberry's
even
third.
strawberry.
Strawberry, like I think third is something outrageous. I don't think it's mint because mint
Yeah,
is a very. Some people find the taste of mint chip to be too medicine-y.
yeah. I don't. I've never liked the idea of mint ice cream, or just mint like mint mixed with chocolate. I don't. I
And now,
don't
see,
get
I
it.
like it,
Doesn't
but
do
I
it.
would never say it's like one of the most popular flavors. Like
Yeah.
I think they just pulled it out of their ass, and they don't want to have brown because it looks like people are slinging shit around,
I mean,
and
they
they're like,
had
we can't have that,
they had mayonnaise versus ketchup.
and it looked like jizz and blood.
Exactly. So
Jizz and blood.
yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Strawberries okay. Mint chips, you can have that.
And
Vanilla.
vanilla's just fucking vanilla. It's
I
like,
mean, yeah,
really?
vanilla's
You,
like the
you didn't want
can.
to do anything interesting?
Vanilla's the canvas of ice cream. It can become anything, but yeah,
I mean, good, like, okay, if you've ever had like a really good, if you've ever had a really good vanilla ice cream, like a really good, like a high quality vanilla ice cream is fucking amazing.
yeah.
But the thing is that most of the time people aren't getting high quality vanilla ice creams. Most of the time, you know what people get when they get vanilla ice cream? Trash.
Typically, yeah.
They get some mediocre, half-assed bullshit.
Yeah.
I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that. Oh, I like vanilla.
And Detective Pikachu, new Detective Pikachu game coming out for the Switch.
Eh,
Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah,
eh, eh.
yeah.
Where's the next Detective Pikachu movie with Danny DeVito doing the voice of Detective Pikachu?
Yeah,
That would have been interesting. I don't really give a fuck about the game.
yeah.
Like they don't do the spin-offs that I want, that I would be interested in a Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
I would be interested in a Pokemon spin-off that's like, I don't know, like do another Pokemon Coliseum game, like from the sixth gen, something like that. I'd do that. But I don't care about Pokemon as it is right now. I really don't. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I don't really give a shit about any of Pokemon at this point. At this point, I'm pretty much done with Pokemon as a franchise because it's clear to me that no one is willing to do anything interesting with the franchise. They just keep on recycling and regurgitating the same shit or taking steps backwards when they should be going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Princess Peach is getting a new game, but she hasn't gotten a game since the DS, so that's
Yeah, the game where she used the power of crying, yeah, which is not female, which is not very female empowerment. It's like, is she gonna be badass as fuck? No, she's just gonna use her emotions in order to get people to do what she wants. I'm like, that's not very PC right there. I can tell y'all did not have women in positions of power making this game. That's all I'm gonna say. It's clear to me that there was not a woman on staff saying, yeah, I don't think that's very appropriate. It was a decent game, though.
yeah, I heard decent things about it.
It was fairly. The platforming was fair. It was a little bit like the difficulty curve was a little bit like it kind of ramped up a little bit. Yeah, where it's like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this level of difficulty. But by and large, I'm just like, what are you guys doing? And they didn't show any. Maybe if they did show gameplay, it was very, very minuscule.
Yeah, they just teased it. This is a teaser announcement. I don't know what they're gonna. Yeah, this is just a teaser announcement. They're also porting Luigi's Mansion 2 over.
It's the one that was on the 3DS. So I think that's the third one,
yeah.
Or maybe it's the second one. I can't remember.
So Batman Arkham Trilogy is coming to the Switch. Oh, I mean this was super funny because
let's. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, I was about to say something.
I was gonna say because back in the Wii U when they were talking about the whole 8 gigs of RAM nonsense for was it Dark Knight? And I mean it's just like at this point it's just like people have to come to the reality that they were just making excuses.
Yeah, they didn't want to put it on the system.
And the guy then apparently the guy actually didn't say that, but that was just what a lot of stuff was being reported throughout the media, and people were just making nonsense up, or they just didn't want to do it. So
Well, that and the fact that the game's not running natively on the Switch, it's being streamed.
Oh,
it's a cloud-based game.
Oh,
yeah. Let me put this. Let me put it this way. That's my supposition. If it is running on the Switch, if it's running off the Switch, okay, natively running off the Switch, I'm gonna tell you right now. I predict that game is gonna run like hot buttered ass. It's gonna be so downgraded that you wouldn't want to play it anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that runs on the Switch. Oh.
Okay. Now, The Witcher 3 was on the Switch, but that game was also severely downgraded.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't see that game running all that well.
Oh, and that was another game that they were whining about not being able to get to run on the Wii U, that they were going to put it on the Wii U. So yeah,
I don't think that was. That was something else. Yeah, but Arkham Knight, that game ran like shit on a powerful. If you had a powerful rig, it ran like shit because it wasn't optimized.
Yeah, that's funny. It wasn't even running that great on the PS4, Xbox One, base PS4 and Xbox One, and it ran pretty terribly on the PC because again, like you said, it wasn't optimized. So yeah, that's going to be a fun game to see. Let's see, Dragon Quest Monster, Dragon Quest take on Pokemon.
Yeah, it looks like a 3DS game. It looks like they had that game sitting around, but the 3DS died, so they were like, "Shit, we want to make some money off of Dragon Quest." I guess we'll make a Dragon Quest Monsters game.
Yeah.
Now, do I have any evidence to support that supposition? No, but I'm just going by what I see. I'm going by the evidence at hand, okay? Could I be wrong? Yes. But look at that game. Look how it looks.
Yeah.
It looks like a 3DS game.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And not a new 3DS game, like a base bitch 3DS game.
Yeah.
You know, they probably had it sitting in the vault. They're like, yeah, we got, because I'm pretty sure they have a team over there at Square Enix that all they do is make those types of games. And they probably are like, yeah, we're making a new game for the 3DS, and then they realize, oh shit, the Switch is taking off. Well, I guess we won't put it on the 3DS because the 3DS is gone now. Nintendo's not supporting it anymore, or like bare bones supporting it at this point. So they were like, well, shit, let's pull that old game out and make some money off of it.
Yeah.
That shit was. I mean, I don't have any evidence, but come on, man, let's.
All right, let's see. Pikmin 4. I've never really been interested in Pikmin, but I know that that new
Some
dog
people are.
character, if they come out with a plushie,
What,
probably
Mochi?
probably gonna sell
Whatever his
out.
name is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Pikmin is one of those things that I know a lot of people like. It doesn't do anything for me, but I know there's a lot of people who like Pikmin. I've tried. God knows I've tried with Pikmin. I've tried so much with Pikmin. I've tried it over here. I've tried it over there. I've tried it on the couch. I've tried it on the. I've tried it on the banister. I've tried it in the window. I've tried Pikmin in a lot of different ways, and the whole time I'm playing Pikmin, I'm like, man, I wish that I was playing Overlord, because Pikmin is just it just doesn't do anything for me. But I know a lot of people like Pikmin, so good for you. So if you're into Pikmin, I'm happy that you're getting what you like. It didn't do anything for me, but you know, I'm glad people who like Pikmin are getting something that they like.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
I'm not gonna say I didn't give a shit, but I just was like, I'm not feeling it.
I know there's a lot of people that apparently they've been doing previews of this game, and apparently they've been wildly positive, which is going to be interesting to see when the reviews come out. But
What
I still like to pick it.
of Pikmin?
Yeah, Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4? Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm not trusting pre-reviews from people who get special access, because there were people who got who did pre-reviews of that fucking what was it called? That Flash movie, and that game bombed. So, oh, it's the best thing ever! It's fucking amazing! Oh! It cleaned my house and washed my car. So I'll wait until people who had to pay for it tell me how the game plays.
Yeah. We already talked about Luigi's Mansion. Mario plus Rabbit Sparks of Hope.
DLC.
DLC. And moving on.
I don't know about you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe getting some more DLC.
Don't give a shit.
Metal Gear Solid Collection coming to the Switch. Hooray!
I'll get it on Steam.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna get it on the Switch.
I'll
get it on Steam when it's on sale, so I can pay less.
The Sonic Mania team is making making an original game called Penny's Big Breakaway, which looked kind of
it looks like a 3D. Yeah, it looks like a 3D. It looks like what you would say. It's like a 3D Mario game.
Yeah, it looks like something graphically. It looked like something between a Dreamcast game or a Saturn game. Something
Yeah. Well,
between those two eras.
I mean, let's see. The Sonic Mania team made the best damn 2D Sonic game that we had in years, and so it's only fair that they also will make what might be arguably the best damn 3D Sonic game we've ever gotten in years. Except they kind of got screwed with that Sonic one trilogy collection. They got screwed because they were like, "We need more time to make this good." Sega's like, "You will put it out now." It's like, okay,
yeah, they really got picked over with that game. It's sad because I was kind of looking forward to it.
It's not ready. You will put it out. We need it right now. It's like, but it's fundamentally fucked.
It's literally a higher resolution version of the Sonic 2D games. It doesn't matter when you put it out; it's gonna sell to the people it's gonna sell to.
Yeah,
like they're gonna buy it
it's like a 2D Mario game. I mean, 2D Mario games are gonna sell and they're gonna make money because they're cheaper to make. Because literally, you have to spend way less time making a 2D level than a 3D level, and that's just the way it is. You know, like a 2D level has to be completed. A 2D level, you only have 2 planes of existence you have to worry about: X and Y axis, forward and up, and it had most of the 2D Mario levels have to be completed within 2 to 4 minutes. Maybe the dungeons are a little bit longer. Yeah. Whereas a 3D level, there's all this other detail you have to populate the world with. Because you can tell, play some of those amateur 3D games on Steam or GOG, where you can tell this was made by an amateur audience. You're like, wow, the amount of work that goes into populating a 3D space.
Yeah.
Most people don't think about that, but it's true. Fuck. So, people need to understand that and just be kind of calm about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the more interesting games that was there, at least to me, Star Ocean: The Second Story remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looked pretty interesting. I like that 2D HD and
2D HD 2D.
HD
2D HD 2D whatever. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
It's the only good Star Ocean game they ever made, apparently, by people who. I'm sorry, I played the Star Ocean for the PS2, and it was not good.
Yeah, I think the first Star Ocean is pretty good. I think the second Star Ocean is a little bit below the first one. Yeah. I am not really into Star Ocean. I'm not really into the series. The first Star Ocean is amazing because of what they were able to do with that technology. Like that game is it was one of the biggest game. I think it's the biggest RPG that ever was released on the Super Nintendo. Sorry, Super Famicom. And it's amazing what they were able to do.
Yeah.
Personally, and I think the technical aspects, like them, how they got around those technical limitations in the game they were able to create, in spite of those technical limitations, makes it interesting. But the problem with Star Ocean is that it has an interesting premise that's never really been fulfilled.
Yeah.
And the premise is that, okay, you have someone from a technological society. So imagine Star Trek and you crash land on a planet where people are using swords and knives and shit. So if you have a phaser should trump a sword or a knife. Not in Star Ocean. They're like, I'm hitting this guy with my phaser. It's doing nothing. They're too dense for phasers. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
It always basically devolves in we're going to use high technology to essentially functionally make it into magic. So like magic isn't called magic. It's called like phonic arts or some shit like that. And it's just like...
Yeah.
But, I'll probably get it when it comes on Steam.
Yeah.
I won't get it on the Switch, because, even though that game doesn't look like it's really doing all that much, it's probably going to run like ass on the Switch anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting it for Steam instead.
Plus, I can mod it and add new shit to it. And...
Yeah.
use a trainer and cheat and give myself a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I got all the money. Hey, I bought a metric fuck ton of healing things because they cap your healing in Star Ocean. I think you can only carry like 15, and then later on you can upgrade that to like 20, but you can't like load up on healing stuff like you can in other games.
Yeah.
But
Vampire
anyway,
Sur- Vampire Survivor, which is a horde-based roguelike game.
yeah, I heard about that. I
Um,
was like, oh yeah, now Nintendo fans can get addicted to this bullshit.
yeah. Silent Hope. I have no idea what that is. I don't remember it. Silent Hope.
It looks like
Seven.
it's in the same universe as the Harvest Moon series because you see them petting a cow, and I know that cow that it shows in the trailer that someone's petting, that is a Harvest Moon's Circle of Seasons
Yeah.
the cow. I'm like, is this set in the same universe as Harvest Moon and Rune Factory?
This.
Specifically Harvest Moon.
Yeah. And another farm simulator. I guess or all those who need more of those. You have one more to. So this was the game that made me want to put a gun in my mouth when I saw it. Headbangers Rhythm Royal.
I mean that shit
With the freaking
with the pigeons.
yeah, the pigeons.
That shit with the pigeons. Yeah, that really didn't do anything for me. I was like, uh, this really shouldn't have been in a direct.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, why is this here? This is some real like shovelware bullshit. Like, it's just, okay, I whatever. They must have paid you some good money to put this in a spot. Uh, Gloomhaven, which is based off of a tabletop game.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you feel about it?
I'm gonna say this about everything that we're gonna probably talk about. It's really hard for me to dredge up uh, interest in a lot of this because it's either already on PC or it's a
Yeah,
multi-plat. I'm like, do I give a shit? No, because I've already seen this shit.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Hammock, uh, oh, no, Manic Mechanics, which I don't remember what this game was either.
The game, it's kind of like that game where you're like it's like four cooks in a kitchen trying to get dishes out, except
Oh,
it's mechanics, so they're like building shit and repairing shit. I'm
oh,
like, this
okay.
seems interesting, but I don't like party games
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Like if I'm gonna play a party game, I'd rather play a party board game with a group of friends, or play a tabletop game with a group of friends, than
yeah,
play like a traditional party game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like a party video game. Because most party video games boil down to mini game collections, and I hate mini game collections. Speaking of, does this segue into a mini game collection?
Minigame collection.
Because
Oh
they
yeah, I
announced a
forgot.
mini game collection.
Oh
Yeah, we
yeah,
can segue into
Wario.
that.
Wario's
Yeah,
Move It.
yeah.
I'm tired of seeing these
I'm tired of
games.
WarioWare. I'm so fucking
Yeah.
tired of WarioWare. Like, I would
Uh,
love to see a traditional 2D style Wario platformer because I'm
yeah.
fucking tired of the WarioWare franchise. Give it a break. I'm not saying
Yeah.
get rid of it, just give it a fucking break.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the final game they showed, which is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and I was really happy to see this because it's like, oh, now they're making a 2D Mario game that's not New Super Mario Brothers. They were
Yeah,
it looks like they were inspired by uh, the Rayman Legend games, the uh, Sonic CD with the warping worlds, which that was more Sonic CD more or less worked on a time mechanic, and just
Yeah.
old fashioned Mario fun with the few other twists to it. So
Really, I didn't get that. I looked at it and I'm like, oh, so Mario graduated from doing mushrooms to LSD.
yeah, yeah,
He's doing harder shit now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm excited for this game, which I never thought I would say. I'm excited for a
A
new
2D
2D
Mario game.
Mario game. But because the new Super Mario games are just, I felt like they were kind of stale.
And they're tired. They
Yeah,
were tired. They were
yeah,
really fucking tired. And then Nintendo's like, well, you can make your own Mario game. It's like, no, I gave you $60 for you to make a Mario game.
yeah,
I don't want a Mario Maker engine because they have those. They have those for free. Like you can go online and get a Mario Maker engine and make your own Mario. That's got more features than the Mario Maker game. Like, how do you release a Mario Maker game that has less features than something that's free? Like, I don't.
yeah. People who are really into making Mario games are already doing that. Like
They've been
they
doing
already
it.
have tools. Yeah, like I said, they've been doing it. They've already been doing it. They have or have developed the tools to do it. So I guess people who really wanted that, wanted something
They wanted
official from
something that was
Nintendo.
more accessible from Nintendo, but Nintendo fucked that up because okay, they did Mario Maker. Okay, Mario Maker 1. Okay, fair enough. They want to get that out there. Mario Maker 2. There were still Mario styles that were missing.
Yeah,
Like, where was the Mario style for the Game Boy games?
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
Where was and why was it that the power ups, like when you used an amiibo in order to get a costume change, that should have given you powers of that character, not just a
yeah,
skin change. That was
yeah. That was annoying.
it was like a lot of like I'm like this is just.
A lot of missed opportunities. Yeah,
I'm like, how are you not like these are like basic things that should have been in this game, and I don't want to hear. Well, it took a lot of coding. Well, you know what? If it took a lot of coding, they should have taken the time to do it.
yeah,
Okay, it's not my fault that you didn't do it. Okay, it's not my concern.
yeah,
All right, that's like a business saying we didn't make enough money off of our product. Not my problem.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You made a product, you sold the product. So ultimately, it's up to you to make a profit off your product. If you can't price your product right, not my problem.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be right back real quick, and then we can begin the next topic.
All right. So, for those of you listening, I may have said this off air. I'm in the process of purchasing a new gaming PC. I was going to build it, but I realized that me buying the parts myself, I would have spent like $300 more. Whereas I can get the same amount of, I can get exactly what I was going to build for like uh, $300 cheaper. Plus, I can use financing and pay like 50% up front and then the other 50% over time, which makes it easier for me. Yes, I could pay, $2,200 like out up front, but I decided not to do that. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna spread out the payments over X amount of time. Pay like half up front. So that's what I decided, and that's what Mr. Red Fox is doing, because uh, you know, you know,
Yeah.
there's that old saw that everyone's like, cash is king. Bullshit. Cash. Actually, when you have cash, you wind up spending more money because you're like thinking, oh, well, I have cash and I'll cover the rest. Like cash is good if you're like going on a vacation and you have like a certain budget that you're trying to stay in. But like for everyday purchases, it's better to use financing because that builds up your credit and you can pay that shit off in a reasonable amount of time and you can budget for it and pay it off. But anyway, next topic. I guess the FTC has lost their mind. I guess that's your next topic.
Yeah.
This is about the Microsoft stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the micro. Look, I understand what they're trying to do, right? I think some of these companies, we can't we can't have companies just unicroning everything. But
using their massive amount of money to do whatever the hell they want, damn the consequences, which is functionally what's going on.
But some of the arguments that the FTC was trying to bring out, it was a few days ago. It was kind of crazy. Like
they're false equivalency arguments because they asked why isn't Halo on PlayStation. I'm like, you do realize that Halo is a first-party IP. Like, we should go ask why the Big Mac isn't at Burger King.
Yeah, exactly. I
mean, that's essentially what you're asking.
Like, these people really should have done their homework if they wanted to come on, But it seemed like...
Let me ask you something. No, sorry. Go. Have you ever been a smart ass to your parents? And they say some shit like, why are you being purposefully obtuse? Or something like that. Like the equivalent of something like that. These are purposely obtuse questions that they're doing in order to...
so they're just trying to run out the clock, is what you're trying to say.
Well, it's they're not trying to run out the clock, although that may be a portion of it. They're trying to basically put these straw man arguments up to make their case seem like it's easier to do. But the problem is that here's all of this shit from Microsoft's standpoint and the FTC's standpoint is posturing because Microsoft doesn't give a shit about Call of Duty. They don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. They don't give a fuck about Call of Duty. They don't give a fuck about Blizzard. They really don't give a fuck about Activision. What they want is King. Yeah. Because 65% of the money that Activision Blizzard makes comes from the King part of it. You know what King does? King is that mobile game in-app microtransaction shit.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what Microsoft wants. They don't give a fuck about Activision Blizzard.
They also don't want. Apparently, they also don't want to end up in a situation where exclusives are games are being snatched from them. Because apparently Starfield, because Sony.
Yeah. Everyone's like, well, we want Starfield. It's like they bought Bethesda. It's a first-party studio now. Look, if Microsoft wants to say, hey, Bethesda, you're never releasing another game again. If they want to take that studio and shove it up their own collective ass, it's first-party now. They can do that. Like, you can't tell a business what they can do with the assets they acquired.
Yeah, one of the funniest things, too, because it's just like, I just thought it was astounding because these are grown-ass people that a part of me thought they would actually do their homework and know better. They completely tried to count Nintendo out, like the Nintendo Switch.
Well, they didn't even bring it up.
Yeah,
they didn't. It's like, well, the dominating console this generation is the PS5. I'm like, are we forgetting that the real dominating console the dominating. Because I hesitate these days to call the Switch a console because it isn't in the traditional sense of the term.
Yeah.
However, if you want to widen the
Sorry. What was that?
If you want to widen the measurement, if you want to widen the search parameters, the parameters by which these gaming devices are categorized, you could conceivably say that gaming devices from these companies, the number one isn't the PlayStation, it's Nintendo's.
Yeah. And not to mention that it's kind of funny, you know, because of Tears of the Kingdom, they were the highest selling console last month. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and here's the thing, like, okay, fair enough. Even if the PlayStation was outselling the Switch, which it isn't, even if that were the case, guess the fuck what? Nintendo is using some fucking tech that's over 10 years old. Okay? It's cheap as fuck to make a Switch.
yeah, that's
Okay?
literally
It's
it's
still really
practically a potato
expensive.
at
Yeah,
this point.
it's still really fucking expensive to make a fucking
PS5.
a PS5 or an Xbox Series.
Or
That's why they're
PS5.
raising the prices, because they're so goddamn expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like, there's a reason why people who have Switches are like, yeah, it's about time for Nintendo to upgrade this hardware, because it's over a decade old. The
Yeah.
tech.
It
Now
was
the
old
actual
when it came
Switch
out.
is like 6 years old. Yeah, it was old when it came out, but it's really fucking old now. It's like this shit is about done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's about fucking done. All
Yeah.
right. Like, it's the reason why I'm not really excited. Oh, you can get this game on the Switch. I'm not really excited to get a game on the Switch because I know it's gonna run like ass.
Yeah. And the thing is, they don't have, even for their next console, they don't have to do anything super mind blowing.
No, just have a bit more power.
Yeah. So
Like, I mean, I've said this before on my own cast. I've said it on your cast. I'm not asking for much. I just want 720p, 60 frames per second handheld. If they're going to continue with the Switch motif, which the Switch has sold over 120 million units, so why the fuck wouldn't they continue with it? 720p, 60 frames handheld, 1080p, 60 frames docked. I don't think that's too much to ask. I'm not asking for 4K, 2K, 8K, 120 frames. I just want a solid 60. Can I get that?
Yeah.
I don't think that's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet the Switch can't even fucking do that. So I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's Nintendo's HD console. Yeah. There are games that came out on the... There are games that came out on the PS. There's games that came out on the Wii U that ran better on the Wii U than run on the Switch.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
And apparently, another thing that came out of the whole FTC stuff was Sony being up to their old tricks. Although, honestly, Microsoft does this as well. They do this as well when it comes to like buying out games so that they either get exclusives or time exclusives to keep them off of the Xbox console. I mean, Sony's been doing this for years. I mean, the lie that keeps getting pushed about, for example, Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VII, about how it, well, no, it's because of the cartridge and this and that. No, it's because Sony showed up.
Because Sony came up with a fat check, and they said that we will help you market this game. We will push this game to be a. They spent $200 million of 1998 money.
Yeah.
Like 97, 98 money on that game, which if you adjust for inflation, is like almost $500 million today.
Yeah.
All right, that is the largest. If you like, that's one of the largest advertising, even by today's standards. That's a huge marketing campaign. Of course, Final Fantasy VII was successful.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, we couldn't do it on a cartridge. They put Resident Evil 2 on a cartridge.
Yep. Yep. And,
I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, I remember that article that you had in one of your videos. Like, this was years ago, and basically the guy that was being interviewed, I think he was one of the heads of Square Enix at the time. This article is in back in 2003, 2004. Basically says like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily because of the hardware that put Final Fantasy VII in. It's because of the money. The money was nice.
And plus, Square Enix gave them. Square Enix helped. Square Enix basically, no, Sony bought like 50% of their stock. So they were basically a second party subsidiary to Sony. So of course those games were going to come to the PlayStation.
Yeah, and Sony was doing that to a lot of JRPG companies
Yeah,
to keep them off of Nintendo. That was,
yeah. That's what that
yeah,
shit was about. Okay,
yeah.
so I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, it just can't handle it.
And
Bullshit.
notice how Square slowly came crawling back when they started porting their older Final Fantasy games to the GBA, and when they
Yeah,
made
but notice none of those games came to a Nintendo home console.
nope,
When they finally remember how they did all that marketing, Final Fantasy's finally coming back to Nintendo home consoles, and it was fucking Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
oh yeah, that
And
sorry game, yeah.
that game is not bad within and of itself. It's a party game. But if you're a Nintendo fan and you came up during the age of the third gen and the fourth gen, when someone says Final Fantasy is coming to a Nintendo console, you're expecting a Final Fantasy experience, not fucking Crystal Chronicle.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
So you know what? And I don't want to hear, oh, this system can't handle it. It's the memory is the problem. Bullshit. Because you had huge JRPGs on the GameCube.
hmm,
You had Bait and Katos and Tales of Symphonia, and they came on 2 discs. And I want to hear, well, the space. Final Fantasy VII came on 4 discs.
yeah,
I don't want to hear that shit. That's bullshit. That is
yeah,
total and complete bullshit. Just
yeah,
tell the truth. They wrote you a check.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
They wrote you a fat ass check, and you were like, "Oh shit, they wrote me a fat ass check." Well, shit.
And look, I get it, especially in those days. Sony was probably pretty sore about what Nintendo did to him, and
Well, you mean Nintendo didn't let them fuck them?
yeah, they didn't let them
I mean,
steal all their IPs. And
let's wait a second. Let's tell the truth here. This is not Nintendo did a dirty deal. Sony tried to fuck them, and Nintendo's like, wait a second. Old man, this is before Iwata. See, Iwata was cool. Iwata was nice. He's like, look, okay, fine. That you want to fuck us? Okay, we'll go and become the best first party developers in the industry. Fuck off. But Yamauchi was like, oh, you want to fuck me? The only person allowed to fuck me is my mistress. I don't think so, Sony.
yeah, that was pretty dirty. That was pretty dirty of Sony to try to essentially steal all their IPs. Like,
It's like, we will control your IPs because it's in our format. Because Sony's always been about the format. That's why they fucking had those expensive ass for like individualized formats. Apple does the same thing. That's why Apple's all like, well, if you want to do this, you need to spend money on our format. Your expensive ass format
yeah,
that I have to spend a arm and a leg for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, what did happen is Nintendo did become the best first-party developer in the industry. I mean, name me a Sony or Microsoft game that has just an amazing one-to-one attach rate compared to Nintendo's
They
IP.
don't have one.
Yeah,
Even like you talk to Sony fanboys and they're like, yeah, we have the best first party games in the industry. When they say that, I have to choke back my laughter. And then I compose myself. I'm like, okay. Even the best selling IP Sony had, and I think still has, is Gran Turismo.
yeah,
That's their high selling IP.
yeah,
And Gran Turismo these days it's in worse shape than Halo.
yeah,
All right. Then you look at their other first party games, their Spider-Mans, their Ratchet and Clanks. Those games never sold gangbusters. They
yeah,
had a devoted audience, and that was it.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Just call a spade a spade. Don't piss on my leg and say it's raining. It's you know. But yeah. They wanted to. What they're doing. What both sides are crafting a narrative. Microsoft and the FTC. They're crafting a narrative. Okay, Sony doesn't want Microsoft to have a position where they are more competitive with them. Because if Sony, you notice whenever there was a generation where there was other competition, Sony didn't do as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. When everybody else is on their A game, like Xbox and Nintendo, Sony didn't do well. I mean, they ended up outselling the 360, but everybody already moved on to the PS4 and
Yeah, but I
the
mean, the
Xbox
360
One.
was self-inflicted wounds for
Yeah,
Microsoft because they had the Red
that is
Ring of Death,
true. Yeah,
and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna put this system out there, even though in order to beat the PlayStation to the market, with knowing that it had a fundamental design flaw."
and it wasn't even that, and it wasn't. It was something that could be easily fixed. It was a pretty small design flaw, but they were like, "No, we gotta get this out." It's like,
Yeah,
get this
yeah,
one.
we've seen this before, multiple times. We've seen this before.
Ugh. Yeah, yeah. But in any case, you got any free topics to discuss?
I do. I have one. I'll pick one. I'll pick one. I'll pick one free topic. No, we didn't do Sony's up to their old tricks.
Oh,
Or is that an
well,
addendum to FTC?
that's the addendum to FTC. We basically touched on it.
All right. Here's my my free topic. Huh. Shit. Oh well. Guess I can come up with something. I can come up with something. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Sandland. Sandland looks amazing.
Yeah.
Sandland looks fucking amazing, and I'm totally gonna get it. And I don't care what anyone says. Of course, I'll be getting it on PC because it's not coming to the Switch. uh, oh man, so many good games not coming to this system.
If someone was here, she would have a
Hissy fit.
Yeah.
She'd pitch a pitch,
Yeah.
if you will. She'd pitch a pitch. Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I personally, I personally, just on my own personal thing, I like I am a Akira Toriyama fanboy, even though I got fucking tired. I'm tired of Dragon Ball Z, and shit like that. But his other shit, like Lum, sorry, not Lum, Barale, aka Doctor Slump, Sandland, like a lot of his one shots are amazing, and like his other lesser known stuff. So I like that shit. I think he doesn't. I think people just know him for the one thing, not realizing that he has all this other shit he did. It's like Jack Kirby. Everyone's like Jack Kirby and Spider Man. Jack Kirby worked on a lot of shit besides Spider Man. Don't just go with Spider Man all the goddamn time. Jack Kirby worked on Fantastic Four. He worked on the New Gods for DC. He worked on he created Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. He worked on the X-Men. He worked on Silver Surfer. Jack Kirby worked on a lot of shit aside from just Spider-Man.
So he was so a lot of those authors weren't tied to like Marvel or DC. They didn't.
No, he was getting fucked. He was getting fucked at Marvel, so he left and went to DC, and that's why he created the New Gods. Because the whole point of the New Gods is that, like, he created these new badass characters that killed the old gods. He was kind of saying, "Yeah, these are going to be more badass than anything I ever created at DC." And then DC fucked him, so he went back to Marvel.
Seems like
yeah.
It's tough being an artist, isn't it? God damn.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're Alan Moore and you're basically making millions off your royalties.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Unless you can become unless you can be like an independent artist and be somehow through miraculous miracle become a millionaire without happening to rely on DC or Marvel. But
I'm gonna tell you right now, let's go ask Todd McFarlane and his Vision Comics label, independent comic label that did Spawn and Savage Dragon and Wildcats, how that worked out for them. They faced bankruptcy so many goddamn times.
Wow.
It's hard being independent. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Isn't Spawn owned by Dark Horse?
They may have bought it. Here, let me check. I can Wikipedia this. I'm just gonna Wikipedia it. Let's see. Is Spawn? No, I'll just Google it. Is Spawn still an indie comic? Let's see. Spawn. Oh shit! Wikipedia is the one that has the information. Okay, so okay, let's see. Spawn Image Comics. Okay, let me look this up. Image Comics. Let's see. Is it still in existence? Okay, so there was a partial breakup. Let's see. So some of the stuff was broken up and sold to certain people. So Liefeld, Rob Liefeld, who was CEO of Image Comics, to let's see. I don't know. Let's see. No, it's still,
Now it's still independent.
yeah.
Interesting.
It's still independent. I mean, they didn't want to recognize the union, but
Yeah.
they're still around.
Interesting.
Here are their partners: 12 Gauge Comics, Arancia Studios, Black Market Narrative, Giant Generator, Highbrow Entertainment, Miller World, Robert Kirkman LLC, Skybound Entertainment, Skybound Games, How You Know LLC, Todd McFarlane Productions, Top Cow Productions, Shadowline, Syzygy Publishing. And their their publications. Oh shit, it's huge. But I'm gonna see if Spawn's still there, because Spawn should still be there. Let's see, Spawn. Yeah, Spawn's still there. Spawn's still an independent. Yeah, Spawn is still an Image comic.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
So I mean, but that's very hard.
Yeah.
And it's not on. And here's the thing: Spawn is the most successful independent comic book character of all time. And this is important because he's a black character. It's not from Marvel, not from DC. A black character created by Todd McFarlane, who's a white guy.
Yeah.
He says he got in trouble at Marvel because he wanted to do a thing when he was doing a run on Spider-Man where Spider-Man would deal with this racist cop, and the cop's like, "Yeah, we're gonna shoot this black guy," and he's like, "Well, how do you know if I'm not? How do you know I'm not black?" Because he's always wearing his mask. Because Spider-Man wearing his fucking mask is an important aspect of the character. It's always been an important aspect of the character. But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there you go. So I guess Image Comics is the you know, is the exception to the rule. I guess the other comic book people where it's like, God damn, I can't believe they're not here is what's it called? Mirage Comics, the ones who did TMNT.
Yeah.
But they sold their shit out, so I don't know.
Yeah.
TMNT, that's so sad. Because I'm a huge TMNT fan, and it's just,
Yeah.
Oh well, that's just my opinion. I think that's enough.
So Final Fantasy 16 came out. It is currently at an 88 on Metacritic, and I guess people were pissed off about that because they thought it was just going to come in and demolish Tears of the Kingdom. Um, which I find I find funny that people care that much about Metacritic scores. I mean, they're fun to kind of look at and figure out a basic benchmark about what people are thinking about a certain product, but it's not like I take them as gospel or anything
Fair.
about it. Yeah, so I found that funny. Another thing I found funny was, actually, they're not funny. There's a couple of reviews I saw. Um, it's 82. It's actually 88 and critic score and 8.2, so an 82 user score. Interesting, but anyway, I saw two different reviews or two different takes on Final Fantasy 16. Saw Skill Up's review, which is interesting because he pretty much agreed with us pertaining to Final Fantasy 16 and the direction that it took. That's
Where's the traditional shit? Where's the party members? Where's the towns, the villages? Like, is it just like this should have just been its own thing? It should have just been a spinoff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should have been a spinoff.
And well, that's one of the things he brought up was the fact that there were other games that were turn-based that did relatively well, like your Persona games. When it comes to the more well-known turn-based games, obviously the HD2D stuff was relatively well. So it was just kind of weird that they were just kind of shitting on turn-based games. But I mean, like you said earlier, they want to reach. They dump so much money into these games that they need to reach the most amount of people that they can.
Yeah.
Rather than focusing maybe more on an artistic art style, dialing thing. Because think about Persona games, those games probably aren't super expensive to make.
They're probably they put money into it, but it's like you notice like you've played Persona 5, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is not a huge open world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's a lot of it's hallways. A lot of the world is more like hallways and like
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like a big wide field or something like that. But it's fine. Not every game has to have big open fields or whatever. But
no, but
stuff.
I don't know about you. When I play Final Fantasy, I mean, and I know this is me being nostalgic, but my favorite Final Fantasy of all time is Final Fantasy VI, followed by maybe 4.
Yeah.
Those games, like, yeah, you're kind of gated at first, but then you reach a point where the game opens up and you're traveling this world. It's like, oh, what's in this new town? What new quests can I take up? What new stuff is going on? What's going on over here? And that has been completely demolished and taken away in modern Final Fantasy these days. It's a series of gated experiences, which is not, to me, that's not interesting to me. I don't play Final Fantasy. I mean, the combat is better than it was in Final Fantasy 13, but that was the problem with 13 is that it was a series of gated experiences. There was no real RPGing going on, I guess would be the term.
Yeah.
Where's the party?
Yeah.
Where's the equipment? Where's the money? And Final Fantasy 15 was just as bad. I mean, it's like I don't know what's going on with this franchise. And I know, look, I'm glad that it made money, but Yoshi P, you let me down.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things he also mentioned is like one of the things he mentioned was that the game felt like more like a Final Fantasy 14 quest line where it's just where it just brought up this idea that was like, well, you know, you got a MMO director to do your single player game, so it's probably gonna feel
Like an MMO.
MMO.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, he is the director of. He's the guy who turned around Final Fantasy 14. So
Yeah.
it's like it feels like Final Fantasy 14. No shit.
Yeah, and so it's just just because somebody's really good at one thing doesn't mean they're good at other stuff.
Yep,
So
that is true.
That's something a lot of people just tend to forget. It's like,
Yep.
I mean, so
Just because you're good at one thing does not mean that you're good at. Just because you're good at X doesn't mean you're good at Y. Like if you're a good Mexican chef, that doesn't mean you'll be good making sushi.
yeah,
Like they're fundamentally different types of cuisine. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
and it's not a one-to-one. Now, here's the thing: if you're good at making games, does that mean that those skills that do translate over can those be used in both scenarios? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, I mean, there are fundamentals that could be transferred into, something else, to a degree. But
Not the way they're trying to do it, though. It's like this is. Oh well, look. I was interested in this game. It looked kind of interesting, and then the more I saw about it, and the more I heard from the director, I was like, you're kind of worrying me a little bit. And my worries were substantiated.
yeah,
Like what I suspected came to pass. So
Yeah,
I probably
exactly.
will get this game when it goes on sale. I'm not going to buy it day one. I'm not getting it on. Well, I don't have a PS5, so I couldn't get it even if I wanted to. But I'm going to wait until it comes on PC and it's on sale.
yeah.
And that's that.
Anyway, that's it for me. Want to give your sign off and pimp out what you're doing?
Yeah, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. I will be having a podcast tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. to hopefully 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be talking about. I'll be going in depth about some of the announcements they had in the direct. And we'll have a little bit of speculation about what Nintendo's next console will be, or at least a wish list, if you will, of what we would want from their next console. We'll do like like what we wish they'd have, and then what we're probably going to get, and see how right we are, depending on what happens. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm also working on. Well, I would say I'm working on doing a streaming something Thursday, but probably not. I'm probably just gonna sit on my ass and do nothing. So I might stream something. I have to get new streaming software because the streaming software I normally use isn't Windows 11 compatible. So I have to. Yeah, this new streaming PC has a Windows 11, and I don't feel like downgrading.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Right? Sorry, it's your podcast. That's all I had to say. I got nothing else to say. That's it.
All right, that's cool. This is Kenoshi Abominito. I have a Nintendo Direct reaction video that I made last week. Check it out whenever you get a chance. Yeah, or if you feel like it. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Have a good life. Later.